everyone, Simi here. I'm excited to announce an upcoming multi-agent-based development course for senior GenAI folks, led by the brilliant Avinash Mishra.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the world of software development. We're going to talk about one of the most powerful automation tools out there, Jenkins. And by the end of this, you'll really get the magic behind how new features land on your phone so seamlessly.
I mean, think about it. You tap Update, and just like that, you've got new features. It feels instant, right? Almost like magic. But behind that simple button, there is a seriously powerful system working hard to make sure it all goes off without a hitch.
Getting code from a developer's computer all the way to your screen is, well, it's a huge undertaking. It's this high-stakes race that's just filled with potential for chaos. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the system that brings some serious order to that chaos.
Okay, so first things first, the software delivery problem. Before we can really appreciate the solution, we have to understand the problem it's trying to solve. Why is this so difficult to get right in the first place?
You'd think it would be simple, right? Just write some code and release it. But in the real world, without the right systems in place, it's basically a minefield of potential disasters just waiting to happen. Let's break down exactly why that is.
When you do things manually, you're relying on people. And, people make mistakes. Plus, every developer's machine is a little different, which leads to totally inconsistent results. Release days, they turn into these slow, incredibly stressful marathons. And maybe the worst part is, you can never be 100% sure you can do it the exact same way twice.
And this is where our hero, Jenkins, enters the story. The best way to think about Jenkins is like a tireless, super precise butler for your code. It's designed specifically to automate and manage that entire chaotic process for you.
So what is it, formally? Jenkins is an open-source automation server. Its main job is to be the orchestrator for something called CI/CD. That's continuous integration, which is just constantly merging code from all the developers, and continuous deployment, automatically pushing that new code out to users. Jenkins is like the conductor of an orchestra, making sure every instrument plays its part in perfect harmony.
So how does it pull all this off? This is where it gets really clever. Jenkins uses what's called a master agent model. The master is the brain. It gets a job request, say, build this Java app. But, and this is key, it doesn't do the work itself. Instead, it finds a specialized agent that has the perfect Java environment and just delegates the task. It's the classic right tool for the right job principle, but totally automated. Okay, so we know Jenkins is the butler, but how do we give it instructions? Well, in the old days, it involved a lot of clicking around in a web interface. But the modern, much more powerful way is something called pipeline as code.
And this right here shows you the difference perfectly. The old way, clicking buttons in a user interface, was so fragile. One wrong click could break everything. And if the server crashed, your whole configuration could be gone. Forever. The new way, pipeline as code, uses a simple text file. This file lives with your code. It's version controlled, it's easy to back up, and anyone can review it. Your pipeline becomes just as robust and reliable as your application code itself. It's a total game changer.
And at the heart of all of this is that special text file called a Jenkins file. You can think of it as the actual blueprint for your entire delivery process, and it lives right there, safe and sound with your code. Now, what's really cool about this code-based approach is that it's not just for one type of project. This is where things get really powerful, because it's flexible enough to manage a whole portfolio of totally different services.
So picture this. Your application is made of a bunch of different parts. Maybe some are written in Java, others in Python. You don't need a totally separate process for each one. A single, smartly written Jenkins file can actually figure out what kind of code it's looking at and then act accordingly.
And here's how that works. The pipeline can look for specific files. So if it spots a pom.xml file, it immediately knows, this is a Java project, and it sends it off to an agent with the right Java tools. But if it finds a requirements.txt file, it says, okay, we've got a Python project here, and routes it to the Python specialist agent. It's basically an automated traffic cop for your code.
Of course, any kind of real automation needs access to sensitive information, passwords, API keys, you name it. And handling that stuff badly is a massive security risk. So a critical feature of Jenkins is its ability to manage these secrets securely. It makes them available to the pipeline only when they're absolutely needed, but, and this is so important, it makes sure they are never, ever written out or exposed in the logs. This is absolutely essential for building a pipeline you can actually trust. All right, so we've covered the how. Now let's talk about the why. What are the core principles that take a pipeline from just working to being truly powerful and reliable?
If you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. Build once, deploy many. This is the absolute golden rule of reliable software deployment. What it means is you create your application package, your artifact, exactly one time.
And this shows that journey perfectly. The code gets built into a package, let's say a Docker image, just once. Then that exact same package gets deployed to a staging environment for all the testing. And only if it passes all the checks, that very same, completely unchanged package is what gets released to users in production. This completely eliminates any weirdness between environments. What you tested is exactly what you release. No surprises.
Another pro principle is don't repeat yourself, or dry. You know, if you have common steps in your process, like sending a Slack notification, you don't want to copy and paste that same code into a dozen different pipelines. That's a maintenance nightmare. Instead, you use something called a shared library. This keeps your Jenkins files clean, efficient, and so much easier to manage.
So let's bring this all together now. What's the ultimate goal of all this automation, all these principles? It's really about creating a clear, reliable, and predictable path for your code to reach your users.
So let's recap the big takeaways. We saw how one smart Jenkins file can juggle different technologies. We learned the golden rule, build once, deploy many, which is our secret to consistency. And it all adds up to this, using CI/CD to build a path to production that is reliable, repeatable, and most importantly, safe.
Because, in the end, this isn't really about the automation itself. It's about what the automation gives you. And what it gives you is confidence. The confidence to release new features quickly and safely, knowing that your process is solid and predictable every single time. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. Once you've automated away all that tedious, error-prone manual work, you've freed up your team to focus on what actually matters, innovating and building the next great thing. So the only question left is, what will you build?
Folks, I hope you are liking our content and it is adding up nicely in your skill set database. If so, hit the like and subscribe button.
Hey, welcome. You ever wonder how your favorite apps just get better all the time? Like new features pop up almost daily and you barely even notice it happening? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible engine that makes all of that possible. It's called infrastructure as code.
No, really think about it for a second. Your banking app. How in the world can it update, say, 5 times in 1 week and not completely fall apart? How can they add new stuff, fix bugs, and it just works? There's a secret here, so let's uncover it.
All right, so to really get why this is such a huge deal, we got to look back at how things used to be done. Let's call this first part building in the dark. And believe me, the old way was slow, it was risky, and honestly, it was just a world of manual setup.
Okay, so imagine you had to build a brand new bank branch, brick by painful brick, but for every single new customer. That's pretty much what setting up a server used to feel like. You'd have a team of really smart engineers, manually clicking through menus, typing in commands, setting up networks by hand. It was not only incredibly slow, but it was a recipe for disaster. Why? Because we're human. One person might set up a server just a tiny bit differently than the next person, and boom, you've got these mysterious bugs and crashes that are impossible to track down. It was a system that just could not scale. So clearly, that whole manual process wasn't going to work long-term. And then there was this massive, brilliant shift in thinking, a real light bulb moment for the entire industry. People started asking, wait a minute, what if we stopped building everything by hand? What if we could use a perfect, detailed blueprint instead? This was the blueprint revolution, treating our infrastructure just like we treat our software.
And that right there, that is the core idea behind infrastructure as code, or what you'll hear called IaC. It's this practice where instead of a human clicking buttons and typing commands, you write a file. A simple, machine-readable file that describes exactly what your servers, your databases, your firewalls, your entire digital world should look like. It is, quite literally, the digital blueprint for everything. And when you put the old way and the IaC way side by side, wow, the difference is just night and day. We went from a manual and slow process to something that's automated and lightning fast. We left behind an error-prone, fragile system for one that's repeatable and rock-solid. And because it's all defined in code, every single time you build it, it's identical. Perfect consistency. You can now scale to 1,000 servers just as easily as you can one.
It's a total game changer. Okay, so having a blueprint is awesome, right? But a blueprint is just a piece of paper or, a file if you don't have someone or something to read it and actually do the building. So that brings us to the modern builder's toolkit. Let's talk about the tools that actually read the blueprint.
First up, we've got Docker. And honestly, the best way to think about Docker is to think about a shipping container. You know, those big metal boxes? Before them, shipping with chaos. Barrels, sacks, crates, all different sizes. The container standardized everything. Well, Docker does the exact same thing for software. It packages an application and everything it needs to run, the code, the libraries, all the little settings, into one neat, standardized unit called a container. This solves that age-old, infuriating problem developers have where they say, well, it works on my machine. With Docker, if it works in the container, it works everywhere. Period.
So if Docker is the shipping container that holds the app, what actually builds the port, the cranes, and the warehouses? That's where Terraform comes in. Think of Terraform as the automated construction robot. It's the tool that reads your IaC blueprint, that code file we talked about, and then it just builds everything. It creates the servers, configures the networks, the whole shebang. It's the engine that turns your blueprint into a real working digital environment.
Okay, so we've got our blueprint, which is our IaC file, we've got our shipping container for the app, Docker, and we've got our construction robot, Terraform. Now, let's put it all together and see how this creates a kind of software assembly line, taking code from a developer's keyboard and getting it all the way to your phone, automatically.
And this automated workflow has a name. It's called a CI pipeline, which stands for continuous integration. And you should really just think of it as a modern assembly line for software. Seriously, you put raw materials, in this case code, in one end, a bunch of automated steps happen in the middle, and a finished, polished, working product comes out the other end.
So let's walk through it step by step. It all starts when a developer writes some code for a new feature for, say, that banking app. The second they commit that code, the assembly line kicks into gear. First, the app gets automatically packaged up into a neat little Docker container. Next, Terraform reads the blueprint and instantly builds a brand new, perfect environment for it. And finally, that new version of the app is deployed and released to you, the user. And the best part? It all happens seamlessly, sometimes in just a matter of minutes.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds really cool for the tech people, for the developers. But why does this matter to you? What's the real-world impact of IaC when you're just trying to check your bank balance on your phone?
Well, it means pretty much everything. Because of IaC, you get those cool new features way faster. The services you rely on every day become way more reliable and stable. Think less crashing. You see fewer of those annoying bugs because everything is built and tested in a perfectly consistent way every single time. Your user experience is the same no matter where you are. And here's a big one. Because the entire system is standardized in a file, it's so much easier to make it secure. And that means your data is safer. That's a huge win.
Let's just try to put this speed difference into perspective. It's kind of staggering. In the old world, the building in the dark days, a big company would be lucky to push out maybe 2 major updates a year. Now, look at the IaC way. Companies are deploying new code hundreds, sometimes even thousands of times per year. We're talking about a 100-fold increase. That isn't just an improvement, that's a complete transformation in how fast technology can move. So, the next time your banking app seamlessly adds a new feature, or any app you use gets a little bit better, you'll know the secret. It's not a bunch of people in a back room frantically clicking buttons. It's a blueprint. It's an automated assembly line. It's the powerful idea that our entire digital world can be described in a simple file. And that really leaves you with a final question to chew on, doesn't it? When something this complex can be automated, what can't be?
Folks, I hope you are liking our content and it is adding up nicely in your skill set database. If so, hit the like and subscribe button.